So we've talked a little bit about wells. We've talked a little bit about springs. Um, if you have the fortune of being on an acreage where you have a drilled well and it's a quality well, that water should be fine. Now, if you're a commercial grower and you're being tested, you want to have that water tested, make sure that it's safe for you to use. But I'm on an acreage. I actually have two wells on my property, one outside and one inside. And I have a good quality of water for watering my property. A couple of years ago, we had a real bad drought in the fall. I had been spraying the biology onto my property, and my grass stayed lush and green. It didn't dry out like everybody else around me who was having problems. I didn't have any problems. Understand, if there is a temperature differential between night and day, you have dew developing. So I leave my grass about 4 inches long. So it's on the long side for a lot of people, but that allows more available mass for the dew to form on. And then my plants can literally drink and stay healthy from that morning dew. Having your garden can do the same way, okay? But if you don't have mulch down, that water is just going to evaporate. You don't want that evaporation. You want that moisture to soak into your soil and be able to use those molecules for your plant to grow. Yes, morning dew. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing that can sustain your garden and your lawn, your yard, with enough moisture to go through, the drought periods where you're not getting as much moisture, but only if there's plant leaf there. Okay, you need that leaf to be there to be able to capture the dew and draw it into the plant and for that to go down into your soil structure. We really don't get a lot of understanding on how water moves, penetrates, how does a cloud stay in the sky when the water molecules should be falling to the ground as soon as they reach a density that they can't float. Okay, it's not just one or two molecules, it's a combination of tens of millions that form together to make drops, or billions, trillions to form one drop. That's where the fourth phase of water with Gerald Pollock, and we've got actually Gerald's coming on in a couple of weeks. But if you guys study what Gerald Pollock talks about and how the energy actually works inside of the water column and inside of our trees, inside of our bodies, the positive, negative energy and the flow that is created from that positive, negative energy within the water molecules, forming basically a straw to help levitate water, etc. Hey, Food Forest, it all of a sudden starts to dawn on people that this electrical energy to move water to, say, a tree that's 60 feet tall, it creates the pumping action. And you can look at it as, a magnetic levitation of the water, because we're putting negative and positive ions from the water molecules, we're separating them, and we can actually create a flow with that energy, just like a maglev train does in its pads to move the train forward. Okay, That's how these water molecules are forming. It's called EZ water. It's an energized water, and it needs energy. And we talked a little bit about the waveforms yesterday. It is that energy, that ATP, that energy that's drawn in from the sun that helps to charge this system. That's where, that sunlight is so important, not only for your plants, but for us guys. We don't get enough sun. We should be spending a lot more time in the sun to charge our water inside our bodies to move blood through our system that much better, just like the chlorophyll in the water moves through the plant, is getting that energy from the sun. One of the things that sun gazers do is that morning and evening, when they're gazing at that sun as it's setting and as it's rising, they're getting the frequencies that really benefit the EZ water in the body. MIT did a little thing on water, and they were showing that the ultraviolet in the morning and the evening, instead of one molecule coming off the lake surface at a time, like it would at high noon in evaporation, they were seeing literally sheets of molecules staying together, rising up. They had the energy to create the EZ stimulation in that water mass, and all of a sudden floating up into the air. That's how important the morning and evening sun is for our plants and for ourselves. Hey, Sherry, Ken, have you ever employed flow farms for energizing water? Yes and no. I know next month, we've got Yellow Skunk Farms coming on, and his indoor grow. He actually has a stream in his indoor grow. So you're going to want to check that out. I used actually marbles. I took a funnel. I bought a funnel. I put a bunch of marbles in it, and I would literally pour my tap water through that funnel. And hey, Hunt, it would actually change the flavor. Okay, and the more I did it, I drained that out because I have a big beehive, stands, a foot and a half or tall, the large volume, and I would empty that and I'd pour the water back through the marbles. The more times I did that, the sweeter the water got. So what's happening is you're invigorating the molecules, you're breaking them apart, you're separating them, you're energizing them. So if you have a water feature, the availability of a water feature, and you can take that water to water your garden, that's energized water. It's full of life. It's full of ions. That's what ionizers in your homes are all about. It's energizing the water molecules in the air itself. That's a better water. So for your drinking water, you can do the method I just talked about, with just marbles. If you can create a waterfall effect. That's what Mother Nature is doing to energize the water. She's running it through the creek and it's hitting itself. The molecules are hitting each other. They're being energized. That's where we want to energize things as much as possible. And it helps with a vast amount of things.